All right. If you need some new mobile hunting gear, go check out Latitude Outdoors. They got a new platform they came out with, a profile saddle platform. They got their new saddles out, the Maverick and the Lone Star. I love that Lone Star saddle. They also have a couple new backpacks they just came out with, which are really high quality, really functional packs, especially for the mobile hunter. The Ranger 22 and the Ranger 11, both are awesome. And code BTE will save you 15% off. So if you're in the market for some mobile hunting gear or a new saddle setup, go over to latitudeoutdoors.com, pick you up some mobile hunting gear. And hey, if you need some hunting clothes, you ought to go check out ASIO gear. Can't beat their warranty, it's lifetime, and they got some of the best whitetail hunting garments on the market. I just got a new piece in from ASIO. It's their soft shell jacket. It's called the heavyweight hoodie, and it's awesome. They also have a new leafy top coming out, which is going to be awesome as well, and a silent puffy for the whitetail hunter. If you need anything from ASIO gear, go over to their website, ASIOgear.com, use the code ECHO15 and save yourself like 15% off all their stuff on their website. If you're a deer hunter and you're not using stealth strips, what the heck are you doing? Are you really even trying? If you don't know about stealth strips, it is the best silencing tape on the market that makes your equipment deadly silent. I have all my gear padded up and wrapped with stealth strips. I don't want a single noise to come out of my gear when I'm setting up on a mature whitetail. So go over to stealthoutdoors.com and use the code BTE10 to save yourself 10% off. So I've been working on some alternative logos and some t-shirts for this channel, and the guys over at Game Trail Creative have really knocked it out of the park with some of these new logos. If you want to take your logo on an adventure or need some graphic design, logo design, or logo wear services done for your business, visit GameTrailCreative.com. Mention BTE and you get 2 free hours of design service on your first project. A good way to support this podcast is to support those who support the podcast. So all the info on my partners are in the description of this podcast. Go check them out. What's up, everybody?
What's up? What's up?
Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hope everybody's doing good.
We went dark for like a week.
Yeah, we didn't do a show last week.
No.
Why didn't we? I'm sure it's because of me.
You went hunting.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Then we couldn't get together. I had to cut grass all day. So yeah, season starts Saturday. I'm finally got a buck to go after.
Well, heck yeah.
I got one I'm gonna go after. So
on your I don't know if you want me to say or
not. I mean on my hunting club, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm hunting him out there on my public private.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty private. Yeah, it's pretty private during bow season. Traffic picks up around the 1st of October or November, and then it's kind of wide open after gun opens. But I kind of have a place to myself, so I'm hoping he stays on the same pattern. I've gotten his picture. Let me see. I got a video of him. What night was that? I showed him to you. Today's Monday, so I got a video of him Saturday night or Friday night or early Saturday morning, and then Saturday evening. And I got a picture of him yesterday morning or today. Something like that. I think I got him this morning. No, it's this morning, early this morning. So,
yeah,
he was in there hitting the salt lick. So, pretty pumped. He's not a giant, but I know him from last year, and he's got a cool little kicker on the side. John said he's probably in. I asked a couple of my buddies, like 136. You've seen him. What do you think? Think that's pretty close?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so. It's not bad for a 4-year-old Tennessee 8-point. So.
No, heck no. He's a good deer.
Yeah, he's got a good frame.
Good main breed. Yeah, good frame, good main beams on him.
And he could go more than that because this one right over here, right back there.
Yeah.
He's this one here was 143.
Yeah. And but he's real beamy too. He has long beams.
He's got really long beams. He's just I don't know how he's like 17 wide, but that 8 points are just weird because you never can tell. He's got his beams go like forward more. They don't wrap around. This one here, that one's wrapped way around, and then he's got good time length too. So I don't think this one's going to be 143, but I think that's a good guess.
Still be a good deer.
Yeah, maybe I can get them on video, get everything done, put it on your channel.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, be cool.
Yep. I'm still just waiting around. We still got another week after you guys, so things can
When does yours
change
open?
drastically. The 1st of October. So,
No, you don't have a week. You have 4 days.
well, I meant from today.
Oh, yeah,
Couple weeks, yeah.
yeah. Are
So,
you going? Are you going opening day?
oh yeah,
Any
yeah,
prospects?
yeah. I thought I had one pretty well nailed down. He's kind of disappeared a little bit, but I'll find him again.
Yeah.
Um, there's one deer I know I could go kill. I'm pretty sure. I think I know exactly where he's living at right now. But and I don't see him moving, but he's just not big enough. He's like 100. He's probably just would go 115. Every time I kind of look at him, I'm like, man, he doesn't get any bigger.
Yeah.
Once he comes out of velvet, once he came out of velvet too.
Now look, we've had a talk about these 115s. We've had a talk.
No, I am over it. Like I really have no desire to shoot one like that.
Are any of those you sent me pictures of from last month? Are they still regular, or they all disappear?
No, they kind of broke up.
Where do they go, man?
That's I don't know. They do that every year. There's always like two or three big ones, and then they kind of just split up. The one that is always there, or he was there last year, is still there.
Okay.
So,
which one was that? Was that one of the bigger ones?
Mm-hmm.
The
Big 10 with the short G2s.
Okay. Yeah.
So cool. He would probably be like, if I had to pick one to shoot this year, it'd probably be him. But there's also one on public land running around that I know about that would be good too. But
right.
I haven't checked cameras on public. I'll wait till I'm ready to go in there. It's a little too early.
You're not running any cell cams on public. Are they all just regular?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
How are those Moultries working out?
Good. They're working good.
I'm still waiting on mine. They hadn't shipped mine yet.
Where'd you buy it from?
I ordered them from Seek One because they had them on their website, as the 2-pack. I don't know if I could have gotten them anywhere else.
Well, Lee Ellis is out deer hunting everywhere.
If Lee
get him like January.
I don't know you personally, Lee, but if you're watching this, get your butt in the warehouse and send me my daggum cameras. I love your show.
You shot a giant the other day again.
Yeah, I know, man. That guy's he does a lot of work for those big deer.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I'm excited though. I'm trying to get him. I went and pulled a couple of cameras, and having these 2 places to hunt now, I'm like, I don't want to go buy more cameras, man. But God, I like to know what's going on too. I like to find these deer, and you know how I do. I like to find 1 or 2 and kind of hunt them and kind of figure them out. And use my cameras to try to triangulate where they are and get hung up on them. So the one that I got pictures of on my hunting club, last year I had him at 30 yards, and I didn't have a shot at him, and I don't think I would have shot him anyway. I was sitting on the ground when he came by me, and he's like 125, 3-year-old. He's a nice deer last year, but I just kind of wanted to see if he'd get a little bigger, and he did. He put on a good bit of antler, probably 10 inches, 10 or so.
Yeah. Did you see a lot of deer jump this year? That you've had known of? I know there's not like a ton of them you know of, but
a lot of them I haven't gotten pictures of yet. One I'm expecting to get his, there's 2 of them I'm expecting to get their pictures in mid-October, because that's usually when I get their pictures. That drop tine buck, the first picture I got of him, I've got a camera up where I got his picture last year. I think I got his picture like 2nd week of October, maybe 1st week of October. So, man, I went in there where I got his picture, dude. If the acorns were dropping right now and we're ready, like there's green acorns, like bright lime green acorns all over the ground, from where they're being knocked off. But you cannot like from 50 yards away, you can smell the persimmons. There's so many of them on the ground.
Dang.
They're molding. There's so many. I mean, they're like you can't take a step. And so I put my camera over it, and I pulled the card the other day. It's pretty easy to get to, so I don't have to go in there and send it up real bad. Of course, I'm just in awe of all the persimmons. So I'm just like walking around going, man, look at these persimmons, for deer poop and all that stuff. And I couldn't find any, but, I've never had luck over persimmon tree, but I don't know. I just always get excited when I see one that's loaded for some reason.
Yeah. A lot of guys swear by that down there though, man.
Yeah. That, what's his name? Jonathan Moreland, I mean, he hunts them big time over in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I just never have a whole lot of success over them.
Yeah. Yeah, they're always done by the time we hunt here. They dropped already and are rotten or gone. So
ours will drop all the way until like some trees will hold them till close to November.
Geez, really?
Like, really late. Yeah, there's trees that are just loaded at Cheney on them. I mean, they're like I drove down the road the other day and I looked over and it's like it looks like an orange grove. They're just all sitting up in this tree and like it's just glowing up there.
Mm.
And then this one tree is just, I mean, it's a persimmon. It's as big around as, I mean, it's probably as big around as a tire on a truck, 20 inches, 24 inches, I mean, big and around. So it's a big mature tree. It's probably 100 foot tall, 150 foot tall. And then next to it's a white oak that's double that size. So, and it's loaded this year. So, you figure that'd be a great spot.
Yeah. Well, Veterans Outdoors, man. Thanks for joining the membership. And he gifted 5 memberships.
Cool.
I don't know what that means exactly, but I think that means they're up for grabs. People can grab them. And
I didn't get mine.
I think I can grandfather you in.
Yeah.
Or charge you the 99 cents a month that it costs to join.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll break me.
I don't want to break you, though.
It might break me this fall, depending on how the workload goes.
I've been thinking about doing like another level of memberships, and maybe people can comment on this because I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, or how exactly to do it. But I think it'd be cool to have it would cost some actual money, but like have maybe like a 3-month membership and have it a pretty small group, and you do that with the price probably. But like for guys that are trying to like figure out public land or kind of new to hunting, and they want like me to get on and just like look at maps and like talk to them about like during the season, just anytime during the season, like get on every week and just even if it's just like 10 guys and like send me your map that you're wanting to hunt, and we can just pick out some spots to go scout or go sit, and then like the next week talk about it.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Saw, and then like throw another spot at me and we can figure that out and just kind of learn as you go what and I thought about doing that, like a once a week kind of show for those people.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know what it would cost. I don't know what would be a fair price and all that. So I'd like to hear.
That's actually a good idea. You should talk to me about that when we're not on air.
Okay. Well, I want to get some feedback from people.
Yeah, definitely. But like, we can pitch back and forth what I think, because that'd be cool if you took a map and like, it's always good to have a few people look at a spot if you're confused. Yeah. I get confused too when I look at stuff, and I've been hunting for almost 35 years. I've been deer hunting.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm no pro. I mean, or anything. I do pretty good with my bow, and that's all I like to hunt. But there's a lot of guys that are new to it or, can't understand. Like, I can look at some maps and I can tell you like where I would look, but then there's some guys that can break a map down and really help you get on the deer, that are good. And I just think it always helps to have 2 sets of eyes because, between you and me, I mean, we probably got 55 or 60 years of experience between the 2 of us hunting. So, I think it would be pretty good. And then even if you aired it, some of it on the regular show, once a month, just put out some of the content that you had done, and we'll talk about it later. But that's pretty.
Yeah, I was thinking about. I mean, it would have to be kind of expensive because it'd be a lot of time, right? Like it would be, you couldn't have 100 people on it because it'd be too much. It's all you get done, right? Is mapper. I mean, I guess it could be 100 people, but the content would suffer, on the regular channel. But it just would have to be, I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot, and it's getting to be kind of middle. It's seasons are all starting, so I need to get on the ball if I'm going to do it.
Well, if you can't do it, it could be something you could tease up for next year or something like that, and maybe get people to really give them time to think about it. See what this election does.
Yeah, right.
They know they got the extra coin to throw in to get a map read.
Right.
Where did this $50 go? Oh, I'm paying Josh and a couple other guys on YouTube to tell me where good spots are to hunt. The kid doesn't have diapers. We haven't got diapers. Yeah. Well, just wash them. Can we not wash them? It'd be pretty cool though, just to kind of go over stuff, just do a show and just pull up a map somebody's interested in, just to try it out, see if it helps people see how they like it. But I like that idea. It's a good idea.
So I've been thinking about that a lot. It wouldn't take much to throw something like that together for everybody. And like, yeah, I know Jimbo was saying Dan used to read people's maps for $20. This would be more than just a map read. It would be like, I'd like to have like a full season of us being in contact. Like I would love for it to be like a learning season where we all, especially, you don't have to be a new hunter at all. I mean, it could be anybody, but where we just like look at your maps on public, private, whatever you're hunting, and like give you guys ideas, and then we get feedback from everybody on like what did we see, what worked, what didn't work, different. I mean, it'd be cool, but I'd want it to be a small group, and then I guess for the entire deer season, I just have to figure out a price.
I wonder about taking. I mean, I don't know if it's practical or not, but if you had guys in states you travel to that wanted to help you break down a spot, and you just, I mean, probably can't do that this year, I'm sure, because your schedule's busy with I mean, you got Iowa, so you better eat up a lot of time in there. But like on a regular season, get a few guys, not for money, but just for a show or for content, maybe do one a year where you meet a couple of hunters at a place that they like to hunt, and you kind of go and attack it with them, scout it for a couple of days, and then put a hunt together. I like the deal that THP and them did, the was it Public Land Challenge? Like that was such a cool thing. I think people really enjoyed it. Nobody's doing that hardly anymore. I mean, Dan's doing it. His little thing that he did with Shane Simpson and stuff, and that was pretty fun. But I don't know. I'm just spitballing.
Yeah.
When you thought about it off air, where I don't know.
I had a podcast on Thursday with Kevin from the Deer Hunter podcast, and he brought up a good point about something. He's like, why do we feel the need to, I wanted to hear what you thought about this, Patrick. Why do we feel the need to mention what state we're hunting in on these videos?
Yeah, I think that's a bad practice. I noticed THP's not doing it anymore. They hadn't in a few years.
Oh, really?
No, they don't on their deer stuff. They do on their turkey. Yep, they did. They do not. Like, I know where they're going. I'm pretty sure where they hunted. They've been hunting for the last week or since the videos they're putting at now.
I'm looking up now because I thought it said.
They're not saying it anymore because you know what it is like guys give them a lot of flack for coming in there.
Oh, dude, you're right. None of their titles, because they also used to be like Public Land Iowa Giant or whatever.
Yeah. So like if you break it down, like last week's episode or the episodes of where they're hunting right now, I think they're in South Dakota.
Yeah. I mean, anybody who follow them probably knows where they're at, but it's not.
Yeah, but but they're not telling you, which I think that's respectful because you have.
I think I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you're hunting with me in Tennessee, you can say we're in Tennessee because you're hunting private. But if you're hunting public, I mean, everybody knows you're going to Iowa. That's a hard one to screw up for everybody. Everybody already knows about Iowa. Kansas, it's a draw thing. But like if you're going to Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, Ohio, places that are over the counter, it's probably a good idea just not to blurt out those states. So when you kill a big deer, everybody thinks, oh, I need to go to that state. That's where they all are. And two, hunters are such jerks sometimes. And they're like, THP's coming here killing all our bucks and bringing everybody into the state, and those guys have done more for the outdoors and for public land hunters than probably anybody ever, So.
Yeah, we were talking about it last week about like public land media hunting was not even a thing like prior to 2018.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It didn't even exist.
No, it's all like
nobody on the Outdoor Channel hunted public land, really.
Nope. No, they really did find their niche. And I think, honestly, more of these guys that are like watching the show now and that like follow you and follow Dan and stuff like that, I think they appreciate it more because, man, 90% of us, maybe you're in a club, which is not really your own place, or you're hunting public land. That's most of the hunting public, so I don't know.
Yeah. It's interesting to think about. I think I am going to start doing that though. Just be like video deer hunting. We're deer hunting in the woods.
Well, I mean, like I said, if you're hunting public, I think I would. But if you're in Tennessee, like with me on private or something, and I mean, ain't nobody too good to hunt private.
No.
Hey man, I go hunt Lukoski's place. I don't care. I go hunt with the juries. I mean, I'd love to go see all that stuff. That'd be a once in a lifetime deal.
I mean, you're going to obviously know where I'm at if I'm, on a normal weekday in Indiana, but like, I don't even have to mention I'm on private or public, really, I guess. I mean, what did people really don't care, most
No,
people.
no.
Some people do. Some people care. They don't like to watch private land hunting, but.
Well, I think it's just been so. If you go back, so I'm 45, or I'll be 45 in a month, and like I go back to when I was a kid. Everything I watched was Primos growing up, all their truth videos,
Yeah.
and the first like 5 seasons are still great. All their videos are great. Like I love Will Primos, but their first 5 seasons were solid. You know why? Because they didn't know what the heck they were doing videoing, and they were making it happen, and they were hunting good places. It was good private places in the Mississippi River Delta, and then they'd go to these other states. But then they started going to Kansas and Iowa and getting drawn, and having these not canned hunts, but these hunts where the average guy can't afford to do that. And I think that I still watch the videos because I just love Will Primos from a kid, when I was childhood watching him.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, Jordan's videos, the Realtree videos never did it for me because they never really they always seemed like they were in a high fence, not high fence, but like a really nice place. They paid for all their hunts, you know what I mean? But I just don't think that interests many people because it's not something we're all able to do. And
yeah,
I mean, I'd rather see a guy kill one like a deer like that one, that 6 point on public land that he's been on for 3 days than to kill a booner on a farm and the deer he's been watching for 7 years. I think it's more impressive.
Oh yeah, yeah. But a good hunting video, good hunting stories, a good hunting story. Like to me, no matter what happens, or really,
yeah.
It's just people like big
That
deer.
That is the cool thing. Like the juries, they show you the history. I got a lot of respect for the juries because they hunted hard in the beginning and they built what they have, and that's really good. I mean, I don't hate on anybody in the industry. You do what you do, but these farms that they just, I mean, they're almost like hunting pen raised deer to a point. You know what I mean? Like, if you get used to it, I couldn't shoot some of these deer because I'd be like, man, I don't want to kill him. I know him.
Yeah, I've known him for 6 years.
I've known since he was a 2-year-old. Now
Yeah.
he is. I don't want to put him on my wall. I want to let him get old. Seek one. Yeah, Seek one. He's really Yappy too. I watched one of his videos. Have you ever watched Yappy?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I think he's an OG in the deal. He's got 400,000 subs. Yeah, he's been doing YouTube for a while. You have to look him up. He had a pretty good video last night. He does a really good job with his videos. He's an Atlanta guy.
His name's Yappy?
That's the name of his channel.
Oh.
Yappy.
Okay, yeah, I'll look him up.
Yeah, I saw his video last night, and I've heard of him before, but he's kind of like Seek One. Quality's really good. He's with Ted. Like he's got a lot of sponsors and stuff.
So he has a bunch of subs.
Yeah, he's got a lot of subs. But and he's hunting those city deer. He went and knocked on a door and got permission to hunt somebody's backyard.
Dude, you know who's really blowing up too? Is Kirk Price.
See, I don't know who he is.
He was with Untamed, and you remember the Untamed?
Yeah, I like those guys.
Well, he broke off of them, and he has like double their subscribers already.
Really?
He has like 250,000 subscribers already.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I think he's really good at YouTube. I think.
Well, I didn't tell everybody, but this is my last podcast with Josh. I'll be taking off.
I'm gonna break off. Yeah, that must be the key.
Yeah. I'll double his subscribers. I'll be at like 42. Like 42. 42,000.
You're gonna still be mowing grass, Patrick.
Yeah, yeah, that ain't gonna help me any. With 400,000 subs like that Yappy kid's got, he's probably doing pretty. He's driving a limited F-150. I mean, that's a $100,000 truck right there. So he's probably doing pretty good.
But that's funny.
Seek One's good because the stories he tells, man, and he's really got a knack for it from the storytelling aspect of the deer and the cool stuff he gets into.
From what I gathered from Kirk, I mean, this is fine. I think it is what it is, but like I think he's a single guy. Like, well, he's definitely not married or kids, I don't think, but so he does some like really cool things. Like he'll go and he's good at titling with videos and thumbnails. So he'll be like, instead of just going deer hunting, he'll be like, he's going to go and something like me and you couldn't do. Like he'll like go live on his boat in the lake and then get off the deer hunt. So he can make the title like living out of a John boat and deer hunting.
Yeah.
So that's like more interesting. So people click on, and that's just the YouTube game.
Wait till I get the buck truck going and put that
Yeah.
camper in mine. That's gonna be my money maker right there,
Yeah.
buddy. I can't wait to get that in there. I got a new piece ordered for my back to put.
Dude, you need to do these mowing videos. Those channels are huge too.
Yeah, they are. I wish I still had like I wouldn't burn out on it a little bit.
Yeah.
When I first started a few years, man, you could have had me. Dude, I used to watch those videos like crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys.
They do though. They got some really good, YouTube channels, those mowing guys.
Yeah. Well, it helps though to be passionate about whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? And only thing I've ever been really passionate about is two things. That's bodybuilding and deer hunting. So,
Yeah.
I guess, kind of getting to live vicariously through your channel.
Yeah. Right.
It's fun.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's all kinds of ideas, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And two guys surviving a small camper for 3 days, hunting negative degree temperatures in Iowa or wherever. Yeah. Just let me know when the next blizzard comes through Indiana, and I'll drive up there and we'll see if we can make it in the camper for 3 days, even if it's just in your
backyard. That's funny. All right. What else? Do we need to talk about anything else about deer hunting wise? Let's get into this topic, and because we'll probably, dude, we've had like an assassination attempt since the last time we talked and everything else.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Oh, you're Patrick going already.
Oh yeah. No, there's a lot going on with my boy, but he's 2-time assassination champ so far. He's undefeated, and I hope it stays that way. I hope there's no more. Let's put it that way. But I'm just glad that he's made it out. I saw today where he told John Deere if they move to Mexico, he's going to put 200% tariff if he's elected president on their products. He said, so you go ahead and move across that line. You're not going to, you're going to take away American jobs to get your stuff made cheaper and make more money on top of it. I don't think so, which is good. John Deere's junk anyway, my opinion. I mean, they're not junk, but they've had this reputation forever, and you pay for it with John Deere. So I'd like to see either them stay in the United States or maybe another company take over.
They kind of went woke a little bit too, didn't they? At one point in time, I thought.
Well, they're firing a bunch of people, laying people off left and right, moving the company down to Mexico. All in the pursuit of probably just more money instead of just taking care of the people that work for them.
Yeah. Huh.
We'll stay out of politics. Don't worry about it, Chase.
Yeah, we'll go on to religion.
Yeah, we'll talk about religion now.
You don't have to watch this. It's fine. I don't care if you've watched or not. We talk about what we like and interested in on these particular shows.
Oh, Jay, he was just kidding anyway.
I know, but some people get real annoyed by the politics.
Yeah, I can get it.
Yeah.
I get real annoyed with politics too if you don't see the way I see. If you don't agree with me, I get annoyed with your politics too.
All right. So I have this book that I've been reading a little bit. It's called The Daily Stoic.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to read a page a day for 365 days. It's just like wisdom from old philosophers and whatnot, from Stoic people, I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't follow it like I should. I just read like when I feel like I'll read a few pages of it here and there instead of just following it around. But it's a really good book. It's really interesting. If you guys ever, looking for something good to read, that's not just like, it's actually helpful. And it like coincides with the Bible quite a bit. Like there's a lot of fundamentals in that book that kind of comes from the Bible. Like they talk about the Bible a decent amount in that book. It's not only about the Bible. I mean, there's other things in there, but it's just kind of like a guides every day of how to think or how to be a more positive person. And something that came up was having the mentality of having enough. And then if you always have this mentality that I have enough, you'll always be satisfied.
Yeah,
with whatever comes your way or doesn't come your way, right?
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, and I struggle with that a lot, like because I'm always wanting for things, just because I'm, whatever, an idiot, I guess, or a human. Yeah. And I thought that'd be something good to talk about tonight. We've probably talked about this before.
I think we've touched on it because I've talked about how I'm always looking for like new stuff or scrolling the internet or buying products at 2 o'clock.
And we always have this like mentality, no matter what. It doesn't seem like you always have this mentality of, if I have this, then I'll be happy. Or if I have this, then I'll be happy. Or if I have this much money, I'll be happy. And there's a quote from that book. It says, if you don't regard what you have now as enough, you will not be happy, even if you ruled the entire world.
Yeah.
So that, like, I don't know. I read this a long time ago and forgot about it. And I was going through my notes today and I'm like, gosh, man, I forget about, you forget about this stuff. Cause then you see something you want, or you feel like you're not in a good spot or whatever the case may be. And it's like, what I have right now is enough. I'm not nobody in this. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, but most of us that are at least connected to the internet right now on a computer or a phone probably don't need a whole lot,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my wife and I just had a conversation about this yesterday because, we have 2 different philosophies in this house, and I'm trying to get all my stuff down, to where I don't have to, stress out about, work. I know what I can make in a year, and it's good money, but I don't want to have to make more because I want more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so, she's big on, I mean, we both invest. She's got a job, so she gets matched. So of course her investments are higher than mine. And I told a lot of the things, not to get too personal, but around the house, little things like we got a vacation. I've always put my money back for vacations or for household remodeling or stuff like that. But my thing is, like, you can work and want all this stuff and try to get your little nest egg going, and you might die tomorrow in a car wreck. Are you living for today, or are you worrying about 10 years from now, 20 years from now when you're old? Like, when I'm 70 years old, I'm not going to be in the shape or feel like I do right now at 45. So why am I trying to prepare for this great day when I'm at 75 to exist? And I mean, hopefully I'm in better shape, but just say 80 years old to just exist in a chair and watch Fox News or whatever and hunting shows on TV? Or do I want to go out and attack the world right now and enjoy what God gave us to do? And now I'm saying do it smart. I'm not saying just don't even have any money for tomorrow and go paycheck to paycheck. I'm saying if you can put money back and do that, but you can go out and live your life and enjoy what God gave us for as long as we're here, because it's not very long, then do that, instead of going, God, man, I can't go on this trip because I need, if I can just work 2 more days, I can get this much saved or get this bill paid off or get this or that. And you're missing out on a whole lifetime of experiences to pay a bank back plus interest for something you bought, or to save money for a day that might never come, or a market that might crash. Or, I mean, my thing is, like, I think in 20 years, there won't be a market. That's how I feel about the way that America's going right now. I feel like the least of our worries will be, well, how much money we're putting in our 401k. It'll be like, do we have water that's clean? Do we have food? Is there a shade tree because we don't have air conditioning anymore? Like that, that's where my mind goes to. So, but that's really good. I mean, that's just what you said is, kind of touches on that.
Yeah. And like, I guess those things that I talked about a second ago about, just having enough. And it's like, we also have these like weird, oddly high expectations for everything in life. We really do. Like, we have just some unrealistic things that we think about people. Like, we think everybody should kind of owe us something, or not, maybe not owe us something, but that are going to be good to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we also have this attitude that we, as in just, sinners, that, they should automatically be good to me, or,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a nice person, so everybody should be good to me. And it's like, doesn't work that way. Right.
No.
And
Yeah.
then I was trying to correlate this with the Bible a little bit. And the best thing I could find really was in Luke chapter 6, 35. And this is something Jesus was saying. He said, but love your enemies and do good, and lend, expecting nothing in return, and your rewards will be great, and you will be sons of the Most High. And that's what we're bad at. Like, I mean, almost all of us, whenever we whenever we do something for someone, or we expect something in return, right? It's very rare we do something just for the kindness of our hearts.
I don't know. I really just do stuff for people because it makes me happy.
Sure.
I think you do too. I mean, you've never done anything for me expecting something in return, or
no,
you know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah,
I don't think you're really that kind of person, and I know I'm not. I mean, I have before been like, dang man, I did all this, and then but you just got to say, hey, if I get something, I get something. If I don't, I don't. Who cares?
yeah,
It makes me feel good to help people or to chip in, or
hmm yeah. I mean, we do it with our politics really bad though. We expect them to fix everything.
Yeah,
It's like
you're alone, buddy. We're
it,
alone on our own island, us and our family.
uh,
About it.
so and probably on either side. I don't know how much um, they either. I mean, obviously you guys know kind of our opinions on this show, but it's like I don't think Donald Trump or Kamala are gonna really solve all your problems. It's like you got to kind of take some ownership of what's going on in your life too.
Yeah.
So,
The,
um,
the the best quote I ever heard was from, I mean, Cliff said it, our problems cannot be fixed by a Democrat or Republican, that our problems can only be fixed by Jesus Christ.
yeah,
That's true. Like, if everybody would just read the Gospels and try to follow it, the world will be a much better place.
yeah,
And I just,
yeah,
they're not going to fix your problems. People aren't going to fix your problems because we're inherently evil anyway.
yeah,
So, we're inherently bad. So if we just try to, just try to follow the gospel, man, treat people better. It's helped me a lot in the last 2 years, since I started really, really trying to dig in and be a better person and change my attitudes about things and be more Christ-like. It's made my life a lot
yeah.
better just
And
doing
dude,
that.
really, a good place for people to start reading the Bible for me. I love reading the Beatitudes in Matthew. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's Matthew 5. It's pretty much all Matthew 5, and that's like I don't know. I could just read that chapter over and over again. 5 and 6, I guess.
Yeah,
So
6 is good too. Yeah.
yeah, 7. It's all through Matthew. Matthew's a really good book, but yeah, 5 through 9 really is a good place to start.
Yeah,
Get
Captain
your
Texas
mind right.
6:34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. And then there's another one too that is really good, where Jesus talks about the birds, and that's one of my favorite ones. I need to memorize that verse. But how they don't have to worry about its eat, and does God care more about the birds than He does about you?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I just always remember that, and I'm never worried about money. I've never worried about, I don't understand how people consume themselves with wanting to make more money or have more money or place so much value on money. I like things, and generally those things have to do with deer hunting, just toys. But I think that's just part of being a guy in today's age. But as far as money, I could care less, man. I mean, I'd give you the last dollar I had if I knew it'd make your life better. I mean, I just
Yeah,
don't care. You make more tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. Tim, it's Sermon on the Mountain. He's right. That's what that
Yeah.
is. I think it's called the Beatitudes. I don't know. Just look it up. Just go into Matthew.
The Sermon on the Mount. That's the one Sermon on the Mount is 6. That's when he's talking to everybody
Yeah, yeah,
how to be and how God is and everything.
yeah. It's a really good section of Matthew.
Yeah, John. I've seen that Veteran Outdoors. John. There was a guy I was watching a TikTok, and he was saying how the best way to read the Bible. And he said go to John first, and then I want to say you read the letters to the churches, Romans on, and then you go back and you read the others, and then you go and you read Revelation. Is the way he said he likes to tell people to read it. Just read it.
Yeah.
God don't care.
Yeah.
He's going to speak to you through it anyway. If you read it, He's going to do the
Yeah.
work in you, not us, not the Bible. We're just trying to say, hey, there's this cool book, and it'll save your life
Yeah.
from death.
I just bought a buddy a Bible who wants to start getting into it, and I need to lay out a plan for him on how to read it, because he's it is confusing. I mean, you can get lost.
I did that for a friend of mine. I gave it to him a couple of weeks ago, and it's a really cool feeling to do that for somebody. I've given 3 Bibles away, and I think I'm going to try to do it more when I feel called to do it. But man, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not griping about getting. I spend whatever, but man, Bibles are expensive, man. Like I was
How much did you spend on one?
$85.
What?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Well, I feel bad.
Don't go to Barnes and Noble.
Oh no, I got this off Amazon. You can buy them for like $25.
Yeah, I probably should get it. Well, did you get the study Bible?
Yeah, the EVS study Bible. I think it's the one you use.
Yeah, I screwed up, man. They got me that markup.
4 of them suckers.
I know. So tell me where to go get one.
Let me look and see how much I paid for that one. I think it was $25. Let's see here. $28. The ESV study Bible.
Yeah, I got him in NIV is the one I got a study Bible for him. So he puts money really high on his list and his work success. He's like one of the greatest guys. I mean, he is the most giving, generous. Their family, they're like our family. We love them. And he and I had a talk when we went on a town for my wife's birthday. You know, we all went. They went with our we say kids. They're all adult kids. We all went out there to Colorado and had a great time. And I just had been on my heart for a long time to tell him, like, hey, man, you need to start taking care of yourself and quit worrying about all the, you know, he's like the best dad. He's like the best husband I've ever seen. He's a great example of what a husband and a man's supposed to be. I just wish he would, he says, my thing says, what in your order of what is the most important in your life? What is it? I says, God. He said, well, see, I'm messed up because mine's family. Now, so we don't have your family without God. So you don't have anything without God. So I was like, he's always got to be first. And then your wife would be next to that. And then your kids would be under that. And your job should be like way down the list, not way down the list, but it should be down the list. And he says, I can't. He says, I put my family first because he loves his family. So I tried to, so I bought him a Bible. I didn't tell him I was going to do it. I told his wife, I was like, hey, just Greg is his name. I said, does Greg have a Bible? She's like, no, he doesn't. I was like, I'm going to get him one. So it was really awesome. So if y'all ever feel called to, and you're not sure how a person would take it, just don't worry about it. God's probably telling you to do it. Give it to them. If they never read it, then they never read it. If they might not read it for 5 years, but they might crack it open and, he might do the work inside of them and, fix whatever's broken.
Yeah. Zeke always, the audio Bible on YouTube's good too.
Yeah. For people that don't want to read, I find it better to read. I feel more connected when you read the words. And I kind of feel like, nothing against the audio Bible, because I know Zeke's read the Bible too. And for anyone getting in, just to hear the word, whatever works for you to get you closer to Christ is 100%. But for me, the audio doesn't do it like reading it, the actual words, and seeing like the words Jesus said in the red letter and reading his words that he spoke, translated, of course, but his words, to me, it's just really powerful.
Yeah. I also suck at reading, Zeke. Or James.
Yeah.
I like to read though too. I kind of agree with you for the most part, Patrick. I mean, if you're just like in the truck for work or something, or just traveling a lot, like I don't think there's anything wrong with. I think it's probably a more productive use of your time than listening to some stupid podcast.
Yeah.
But I got this. I like. Well, if I can pick it up here, I bought this from church. This is an EVS Lutheran Study Bible. I like reading the EVS. I have found that when I just want to read the Bible, I do like the English Standard Version.
Yeah,
a lot.
Did you? I watched my friend Keith. I've been watching him for the last 3 weeks. He's got a church. He just became lead pastor, and he's really helped me with my faith a lot. Wonderful person. He's been a pastor for 30 years. He was a youth minister forever. And he just got the job at his church after their last pastor left. So now he's the lead pastor. And I think he's been at that church for maybe 6 or 7 years. He's been there a while now, maybe longer than that, maybe 10. He's been gone for a while because we met hunting. We were hunting buddies. We met at my hunting club. And, he always was around us scoundrels and everything. Everybody up there, drinking and cussing. And messing around, playing, hunting, and playing jokes on each other. And, he was always, just, he was the pastor, right? The preacher man. That's what they all called him. But he and I got real close, and he's given me a lot of good advice. But I watched his church last Sunday, and he's doing a great job. I was really impressed with his last sermons he's done. He's done 3. I watched 3 of the last ones he's done, and they're really good. If anybody wants to pick it up, it's on YouTube. It's New Union Church in Dayton, Tennessee is the name of it. So pretty solid. I think the one he was preaching on last week, I was going to mention it on the podcast we did last week, was about how God can use you. And I don't know if I mentioned it or not. My memory gets messed up.
We didn't do a show last week.
No, I don't know if it was on the one before that, because that might have been. But he was just preaching about how he just basically prayed to God. He told his congregation, it was the day they were voting on him to be their pastor. And he's like, I'm not going to take the vote I'm not going to take the job if I get less than 90% of the vote. And he got like 92. And so he's like, oh man, I just barely got it. I was like, dude, you got 92%. I was like, what are you telling us? Well, 90 was my threshold. I was like, well, you had a very high threshold. I'd have taken it at 85, So I told him, I said, I expect to see him like coming down from some like wiring harness, like flying in like those mega church preachers do.
Yeah.
Like
Shawn Michaels from the top of the.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that when he came in. I'm a sexy boy. Anyway, but he did a really good, and it was like, man, he says, man, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm nervous as heck up here, and he says, I don't want to screw this up, and he was very humble, which, like, I was worried when he was saying, I was like, man, he sounds very unsure of himself or not confident, right? And he was like, but I just got to remember, nothing I do is from me, it's from God. He says, I just asked God, I prayed to God to use me and my gifts as he sees fit. He's like, I think we all should do that. Just pray to him. And man, the next day I got down on my knees downstairs and just said a prayer to God. I was like, man, whatever gifts I have, show me how you want me to use them to the world, to best serve you, however that is. And I probably need to do it every day, because then it kind of stays on my mind. Yeah. But it just, that really hit me. It's real powerful. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, just to pray for God to use you for his purpose that day with the gifts that he gave you. He said, the thing that was really cool is he said, even our best to God, and God, for comparing to God, is a failure. Mm-hmm. So everything we do is because God helps us do it. Yeah. Like, we can't do it on our own. And that hit me, and I was like, wow, that's pretty strong message.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and this is, like I said, just a sinner thing, but like, we get so proud of ourselves sometimes about things we do, or, we're like, man, I've been to church 6 Sundays in a row now without missing. Mm-hmm. It's like, God, you're not impressing God. Like, he doesn't find you cool,
No.
And, it is pretty pathetic. And I'm very, very guilty of this. It's like, you were talking about like the 6 minutes a day thing. Mm. It's like, man, how pathetic is that we have a hard time setting aside 6 minutes a day to talk to God,
Yeah.
It's like, man,
6 minutes.
Yeah.
And it would be just 6 minutes. You make it 16, 26.
Right. It's still not enough, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, anytime connecting with God, I think he knows our limited ability and capacity to truly devote our attention to him. It's like your earthly father, right? Like, I mean, you live down the street from him, but I know my relationship with my father was, it was good, but it wasn't like we were like best friends or close, like I wish it would have been. Mm-hmm. But, I might go a month and not talk to him. I might go 2 weeks and not talk to him. And he's my father, right? So, like, I think God knows that we can neglect him sometimes, but he's always there. Mm-hmm. And, it's not good to neglect God. So I think any effort you make, he realizes with our limited capacity as the ants we are on this world, mm-hmm. that even 6 minutes a day is enough for him. You know what I mean? I think he realizes how much that is for us to be able to give him, with how selfish and inherently bad we are.
I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I'm sure he'd like it to be more because he
Yeah.
put us on, but he put us on this world to love him and to love each other too. So like, he probably wants us to love each other as much as we love him. You know, we're close to it. So if we're spending time loving on each other and learning what he wants us to do, you know, I think, I hope he's happy. I'll put it that way.
Right. I had something in my head I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was. I'm trying to get better at like, I'm horrible. I don't know if I got ADHD or something, but I'll be listening to someone talking and they'll spark something in my mind, and then I'm like, don't listen to them the rest of the time. So I was trying to pay attention to what you're saying, but then I
don't pay attention to me. Just this for everybody else.
I forgot what I was thinking about. Anyway, yeah, and it's I guess where I get so frustrated with myself is like, dude, I'll go all freaking day and I'll be tinkering around on my phone or researching some stupid lens for a camera for way too long. I'm not even going to buy it. You know, I'm just looking at it because it's however much money, you know. And then I'll get at the end of the day, I'm like, oh crap, dude, I never read my Bible today. It's like I can occupy my time with so much junk.
Yeah.
And then not even think about the Bible for the day. It's like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm guilty of that.
Know?
I'm guilty of that. I've gone on spurts, and then I get guilty of it again. And living in this world, which is what which is I'm one of my favorite verses about how not to try to live for the world, but live for God. And another thing too that helps me keep grounded is this podcast we do. I mean, I'll be honest, this thing helps me stay.
Oh yeah, we kind of started this selfishly, like for us to,
Well, I mean,
keep in line a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, but we're also spreading the word. Like I enjoy doing that because I enjoy. Hey, man, we all like to hunt, but
I'm being hard on us right now.
Huh?
I'm being hard on us right now.
You are.
It's just something that I've been thinking about. Like, I was just trying to be like, you want to make sure that you're following God for the right reasons,
Yeah, well, I think we both are, but you also want to be sure you're a good example and you're not a hypocrite too. That's my biggest thing, and I don't really, I mean, we're all probably hypocrites at some point. We tell people what we know is wrong, and then we can't help but do it sometimes. The things that we tell people, hey man, that's wrong. You shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. And then you're like, yeah,
the golden rule in Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll just read it because it's just a couple of verses. It says, so whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. For this is the law and the prophets. Okay, everybody likes to talk about that one, right? Do unto others as you do unto yourself or whatever. But nobody ever talks about the next verse. And the next verse is 13:7. It says, enter by the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction, and those who enter by it are many. For the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few.
Right.
So essentially what Jesus is saying there is the gate to get to the gate of heaven is much harder to get through the gates of hell, and he's like, not many will pass through the gates of heaven. So I don't know. I think a lot.
I wonder if he meant before he died. Because, and I'm being honest with that. Like,
I don't know.
When he died, he opened it up to a lot of us that would have never gone. I mean, I don't think anybody would have gone by the old law, right?
Right.
But how many people lived on this world and, and been born into this world that, and I asked Keith, my pastor friend, I asked him one time, I said, Keith, I said, man, like we were having a talk, we were sitting in the deer blind and with his daughter. And I mean, we sat there for like 4 days to kill this buck. And we killed it 2 or 3 days, maybe. It was cold, rainy, killed a big, giant, old 6-point, man. He scored 128. Like he was a giant 6-point.
Dang, man.
Had like a 30-inch neck. I mean, he was just and that's the one we went there to kill. And we saw another bigger buck. And he was like, man, you want to shoot that buck? Because she was there to kill the 6-point. Like I got permission from the landowner that they could come and hunt with me, but they had to kill one of our management deer. And I was like, no, I'm not going to shoot that deer. I want her to kill the deer, So she killed it. But we had a really good time and had a really good talk. And like when he was telling us, and she drilled the deer too, by the way. I mean, she smacked down on that deer. But we had a really good talk, and he was saying that just some people are going to go to hell, and God knew it when he made them because he knows everything, right? And there's some people that won't go to heaven with it, or I say go to hell, but, won't be with God when they die. I'll say that because I don't really know if hell's the Dante's Inferno or just separation from God,
Right.
If you choose to live separately from him, then I think he'll respect your decision because you have free will and he'll let you live separately from him. But if you choose Jesus Christ, then you'll have eternal life with him. And I think it's that easy to some point. But I still think it also says, faith without works, I don't know the verse by heart, but I know it's like if your faith's there, but you don't do anything with it and you don't, connect with Jesus and connect with God and try to talk to other people and get them to be, followers of Christ, then, that's kind of our purpose, right? Like that's the mission that Jesus gave his apostles was go make disciples of men. And then we would continue to make disciples, right? And I think if we don't do that and you're really a Christian, at least for men, I don't know that this applies to women, but for men, I think that's our duty. So like, and I'm not saying go on street corners with a sign that says, talk to me about Jesus. But, when you get a chance, I think when God gives you a opportunity to share your faith with them, I think you need to take every chance you can get. You don't need to wonder, man, are they going to get mad at me? Am I going to hurt their feelings?
Yeah.
Just do it, man. It doesn't matter. It's like if I had a pill and you had cancer and that pill tasted really bad, but it would cure your cancer. To you, it tasted really bad. And I knew it was a good pill. I've taken it before. It cured my cancer. Take this pill. But I was like, man, I know his favorite flavor is strawberry, and this is watermelon. He's not going to want this pill. But I didn't even offer it to you to save your life. Like, what kind of jerk am I?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
It's the same thing with the
dude.
guys.
We do that all the freaking time. Yeah. Like we're so afraid of what people are going to think of us, or that a buddy's going to be mad, that we don't even bring things up that need to be brought up, right? Like there's a lot of times when people need God or need to hear something, it's because it's some uncomfortable situation, right? That you're in, and it's like not fun to talk about. And you may lose a friendship over it, if they're not ready to hear it or something, but it's like, it needs to be said. So, you should say it, but it's really easy just to not say it. It's way easier to avoid it.
Yeah. Yeah. And cause it's, I think for some people it's uncomfortable because I think a lot of people really don't know what it, and I mean, I'm not saying that you and I do. I think I've got a pretty good understanding what it means to be a follower of Jesus and what he wants us to do. And you know why I know that? Because I read the daggone Gospels.
Yeah.
I think most people don't read the Gospels, and they say, "Oh, I go to church. I watch it on Sundays," or "I'm a Christian. My mom and dad told me about Jesus." They told you about the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy and all that stuff too. But like, do you really know that there's a book called the Bible? Yeah. It's the history of the world. History. It's a historical document of the world. It's not philosophies. It's not that. It's a historical document, and it shows you Jesus's philosophy on, if you want to look at it philosophically. But he was a man. He gave the Sermon on the Mount. He did these things. There's proof of it, as good as you could have from when he lived and walked this earth. Like, if you look at it like that and you read it as a historical document rather than the Bible, this book, this religious, read it for a historical document. And you can't come out of that thing not having a better understanding of what Jesus stood for. I question too whether you can really be a true Christian and not have ever read the gospel. I don't know. And I've asked that, and my pastor friend told me, yes, you can. The thief on the cross, he'd never heard Jesus speak a day in his life, but he put his faith in him, and he too will be in heaven, is what Jesus said. Today you'll be with me. So, I mean, I'm sure you can, but it's like, how do you call yourself a Christian? It's like, I don't know. How do you call yourself a deer hunter and you've never gone deer hunting? You just know about it, right? It's like, oh yeah, I know about deer hunting. You go with the bow and you shoot a deer. Yeah, I know about that. Yeah, I'm a deer hunter. No, you haven't ever deer hunted. It's like, oh yeah, Jesus, I know. Yeah, I know we go to heaven if we put our faith in him. Have you ever read the Gospels? No. So how do you?
And that's what I'm saying, dude. Like that, you're kind of making the same point I'm making. It was like the verse in Matthew 7 there about the golden rule. It's like we always we always talk about the good things in the Bible, but it's like, but then right after that good thing about loving your neighbor as yourself, Jesus says, hey, this path to heaven is narrow and hard, and it's much easier to go the other way, and more people will go the other way. Yeah. So it's like, maybe you're right. I don't know. What's the curriculum? I mean, we think we know.
Yeah. So with one of them, with the world, you get a lot of fun stuff in this world, and the other one, contains more discipline, but the reward's better afterwards, and it lasts forever. So, like, you might have the money of Elon Musk, who's an atheist. He's my favorite atheist. But you might have money like Elon and everything you can do, and I mean, he's still interested in, like, most people get bored with that and they start doing Diddy parties, or whatever Diddy's been doing. But, or let's say him, for example. Let's use Diddy because he's in the news recently.
Definitely been doing something.
So you can have freak offs once a month and do all this heinous illegal stuff because you got so much money, but you're so empty inside that you're constantly looking at the world and this vile stuff that you're doing to other people in your world. Or you can walk this narrow path and not have much, but you have everything when you die. Like, it's a pretty easy choice to me. Like, one's forever, one's for like 80 years. Like, I'll take the forever reward over the 80-year reward, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You listen to Jordan Peterson a lot?
Yeah, I like Jordan Peterson.
I do too.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think he's a newly converted Christian too, like within the last 5 or 6 years.
Right.
I'm waiting for him to change Joe Rogan.
Yeah, fairly new. Now this guy is, I mean, I don't know if I can put it in percentage how much smarter he would be than me, but he's very good to listen to, like, when it comes to logic of why he believes. And like that fact of, like, just the fact that we're talking about Diddy, which I have no idea what Diddy did, what Diddy was been doing or whatever. Apparently, we're gonna find out one of these days.
Yeah, I know some of it. I know you can't get baby oil in the area he lives in for sure.
There's just a lot of stuff on the internet about it.
There's been a run on the baby oil at all the Dollar Generals and whatever else.
Right, but just the pure fact that we have evil. It's like, what's that mean? How do we know that there's evil? And this is something Jordan Peterson talks about a lot. It's like, because there is evil, there is good, and God is good, right? And so, like, there's for some reason in our human spirit or our human mind, like we feel like things are bad and good, and we have some kind of conscience about it, or at least most people do.
I was talking about this today with my worker Titus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were talking about that because his sister's in college, and she's one of these woke people, Kamala, all this stuff. And and Titus, he's a conservative,
Yeah.
And his family's all Democrat, pretty much. I mean, it is all Democrat, always been Democrat. He's the only conservative in his family. And he and I were talking about it, and I was talking about, what's wrong with the world, and it's moral relativism. In other words, I say Hitler was a good guy. You say, no, he's not. He's evil. And I go, well, what's evil? I think what he did was fine. So why is my point? The relativism thing would be me saying that, like, if I think it's okay, it's okay. If I think it's bad, it's bad. And that's how I feel. So you can't tell me it's wrong because I think it's right. You follow?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know.
Everything's relative to how I feel. And that's what's wrong with our world today is moral relativism. It's being taught in campuses. It's being taught everywhere. And, I mean, of course, hey, just disclaimer, I don't think Hitler was a good guy.
Right. I'm just an example.
I just use it as an example. So if this gets taken out of context and I'm on Fox News, and there's very good people on both sides.
I'll just clip that section.
Yeah, Hitler was a good guy. Hitler was a good guy. But no, he was not a good guy. But the reason he was evil is because we have a document called the Bible where God specifically lays out, because we're too stupid to trust our conscience, which he gave us, that lets us know it's good. He gave us a conscience, which is what I was talking about with my worker today, that tells us morally what's right and wrong. And the Bible reinforces that with what Moses wrote on Mount Sinai with the moral law. and it's like, I don't see how people can't see that the Bible's real and that God's real, and that when he designed us and he made us and created us, he created us with a conscience to know what was right and wrong. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are going to do sometimes what's wrong because it feels better, especially in this world that we live in. They're going to do ditty parties, stuff like that.
Right.
That's what I'm having a lot of fun with those memes. It's the cat.
Yeah,
It's the cat meme. It's the cat meme from this week.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Have you seen the one where they're reading the ingredients on baby oil and then all of a sudden
no.
behind them? I'll send it to you later.
That's funny, but no, I have not seen that one.
Anyway.
But yeah, that's things that I'm trying to get better at, is like doing, saying or doing what needs to be done in the moment, whether it's going to be uncomfortable for my ego or not, or hurt my ego. So
you just got to be unafraid, man, with the gospel. If you're going to spread it, you just can't be afraid to do it.
Yeah.
God didn't put us here to be afraid.
Right.
You know what I mean? And, I think there's a lot of things biblically happening in the world today. If you look at it, you look at Trump, you look at what's going on in the Middle East, the evil that's really being just drawn out in America right now. Like, people are starting to wake up and see how much evil's going on in the Hollywood and the entertainment industry, in our government, so I'm hoping that we have some kind of a spiritual awakening going on in our country. What are you smiling at?
I don't know. Diddy, that's just
ditty parties. Your mind went off to ditty parties.
Yeah. We just listened to Cat Williams earlier in the year, man. This had all been
Hey, he called it, didn't he?
Yeah.
He nailed it on Club Shay Shay.
Dude, that guy's something else.
Yeah.
I always thought he was real funny. Like, I remember when I was in high school and stuff, he that's when he was making his big run. We always thought he was funny.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
He kind of went incognito for a while and then popped out on Shannon Sharp and him.
Yeah.
But
there's your Lutheran church.
I don't know about all that, man.
Yeah, he's young. He hadn't watched Hitler stuff yet.
Oh,
have you ever watched any documentaries on the World War and Hitler's rise and stuff like that?
Not really. I need to.
It's interesting. Yeah,
it's interesting to me. Like, that's an interesting topic.
Yeah, just that history part of it's pretty crazy how he got into power and did what he did.
Yeah. So I'm very familiar with Luther, the story of Luther, and how he separated from the Catholic Church, but I don't know how that all ties in with Nazi Germany.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were complicit what he's saying over there and what happened in with a graduate degree in church history. Yeah, there you go. That's what he's got, a church history degree is what he's saying, graduate degree.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff that I think the church has been complicit in America too.
Yeah,
it's lukewarm. It's just so accepting of sin and tolerant of our state, our country, our government. It's just, that's why I like to say that I follow Christ, because Christianity just, to me, has such a bad ring to it with the things that have been done in its name, and I think it hits people the wrong way sometimes. I'm a Christian. I follow Christ, and that's our word for it. But
yeah. Does the Bible call us Christians, or is that something that is just?
No, I think that's something that the Roman Catholic Church maybe created. I don't know. Okay. Tim might know. I don't know.
Yeah, I was kind of asking Tim.
Yeah, I thought you were asking me. Never mind.
No, I'm kidding, Patrick.
Yeah, I don't know. We just follow Christ. I guess that's all it means to, follow Christ. But man, it's just, you see so many people that just hate us on the internet. Of course, he said that they'll hate you. They hated me long before they hated you. So, we should expect that.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that was a good conversation, I think.
Yeah.
Something I've been, like I said, I was just going through notes the other day and saw that about the my daily stoic.
He said Book of Acts is where it says it.
Oh, okay.
Also followers of the way. Yep. And James, of course, knows. We just need to ask James everything, man.
There you go.
James, what's the weather in Scranton, Pennsylvania tomorrow?
What's Michael?
He'll have it here in a second. He'll Google it real quick.
But I got a whole bunch of the stuff. I take notes on that book because I like it a lot. Whoop. But
yeah,
it's good stuff. Don't be overheard complaining. Don't talk more than you listen. Don't tie your identity to things you own. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't suffer imagined troubles. That's a really good one because I struggle with that sometimes.
I mean, is that like thinking about bad things that could happen down the road? And yeah, you can't prevent that crap. You'll never see it coming anyway.
Yeah,
unless you never have troubles.
And most of it's like, imagined anyway. I talk to Huck about this all the time, and I need to take my own advice. Like I talk to him constantly about like, hey, buddy, you're worrying about nothing right now. Like this isn't, whatever.
Yeah,
maybe him swimming.
You worry. You told me you're a worrier.
Yeah, I am.
Because my wife is too. My wife's a worrier. I don't worry about nothing. Unless it's somebody from my hunting club trying to get up on my stand, try to kill those bucks I'm hunting. That's the only thing and I'm not even worrying about that this year, man.
Right.
I ain't worried about nothing this year.
Here's a good one. Be strict with yourself and tolerant with others.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You got to let people be who they are.
That's hard to do sometimes too. A lot of times we are, well, it's kind of like when Jesus says, remove the log from your eye before whatever is it? This remove the log from your eye before mentioning this.
I know what you're talking about.
In your neighbor's eye or something like that. I can't remember the exact quote, but I'm sure James or someone can throw it up here. But that's a good one. Like if we would be more strict with ourselves, whether that be physically, like our health, or with our Bible reading, and just let others live, we'd be much better off.
I think too, the Bible, if you start a program reading the Bible, it disciplines you and it can lead into other things too. Being disciplined in other parts of your life. Because I'm out of discipline as heck right now, man. I mean, just diet and everything. It's about deer season. I am so over cutting grass. I'm just kind of like in a downtime right now. So
yeah,
I need to get a program going.
Do you do some kind of morning routine?
Yeah, I get up, sit on my porch, and drink coffee and watch my dogs. You've seen me do it. You've been
every morning. You mark on me from your recliner on your back porch.
Yeah, and I have a nighttime routine as well. So, and I sit on the back porch in the nighttime. I like, I just like being outside before I go to bed in the peace and quiet. Sometimes I sit out there a lot of time. Brandy and I'll sit out there, but she always goes to bed early, and I usually sit up there about an hour after her. But I need to read my Bible more. I did so well, and then I have sports where I do well, but I need to be picking it up a lot more than I have been lately. I've been, deer season's here. My mind's been on, hunting and finally, and then just other stuff. I need to get my butt back in it. So I'm just as guilty as anyone on here that's not reading. Yeah, my dad was a preacher's kid, Tim. I see that up there. My grandfather was a reverend.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be a reverend one day.
I don't have
I'd like to work for a church.
What would you do?
Clean the bathrooms. I don't know.
Janitor.
Security.
You could do maintenance, like lawn mowing, and
I cut the grass.
The flowers out.
I'd like to have a little bigger role. I'd like to learn more and get involved in, because I like to talk, and I think I can communicate pretty well, and especially if I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about hunting, bodybuilding, and Jesus. That's the one thing I'm still.
Oh yeah,
those are probably the three things in my life I'm passionate about. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be, a speck of sawdust in your brother's eye. Pay no attention to the plank in your own eye.
Yeah. I think there's different versions of it, but they all mean the same thing.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people that have pastors in their families. I don't have any pastors in my families that I know of that I remember. I mean, we got some, like my pastor now. He married into part of my family, but it's like kind of one of them third cousin deals, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Cousins, brother's cousin.
Yeah, it's like my dad's second cousin's kid, you kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, my grandfather was a reverend. I didn't really know him well. He died when I was pretty young, about like 6 or 7 years old. And then my dad always just told me how much he hated being a preacher's kid because he's like, I always had to look a certain way. And I think his dad was a little hard
Strict.
on him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like his mom was very, very over mothering, and his dad was very, very, very strict.
Did you know
So,
your grandparents at all?
oh yeah, my grandmother was like, she was like my mom. My mom passed when I was 10, so man, I
Oh,
spent a lot of time with her. She's awesome. She wrote me. You know what's crazy? My aunt, she lives down in Baton Rouge, and her and my dad like hated each other, especially after my mom died. But she was real jealous of my dad, and she kind of was just. I think she had a hard time with my grandfather because she was kind of rebellious, and he was a pastor, and I don't think they had a good relationship anyway. And and she's a Democrat, but very, very liberal Democrat, and like not like probably still voting for and enjoying the platform of the party today, and not even realizes that it's not the party of JFK anymore. Anyway, I digress. Um, where was I going with that? Anyway, I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, and she wrote me letters on how to live my life as an adult, and I got them when I was like a few years ago. My aunt found them. I guess she had taken them when my grandmother died. She sent all of it to me. It's pretty cool stuff. It's
yeah.
with Bible verses, and I was like, man, I could make a book out of this thing, and I bet you people would buy it. Like, I don't know if I want to share it, but I mean, she wrote it. It'd probably be pretty cool, like grandmother's letters to her grandson or something like that. And like, because it's such good advice from a Christian, a woman that read her Bible every day, wrote in it every day. I wish I had her Bible. I
Yeah.
wish I knew where it was because I would love to just read her notes and understand her understanding of the Bible. But I mean, she was all about the church.
Hmm.
I never heard her cuss. Nothing. I mean, she was like, I'm sure she's got a really nice seat up there in heaven.
Yeah.
Right? She was so
Yeah. How old she she lived to an old age then, Patrick?
92. Yeah, my
Oh,
grandfather
wow.
died at like 88, which he was older than her. He was born in 1897, I think,
Wow.
or 1896, and she was born in 1902. So
That's
she
crazy,
lived
isn't it?
to yes, wild, huh? She lived till
Yeah.
I think 1902. Yeah, so she was 92 when she passed away. So almost 93.
Huh. My grandma
So
just turned 94.
man, isn't that crazy?
It is, man, to think
Still
about.
cool. She's still pretty good in her head. Like she's still
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's sharp as a tack.
man, ask her everything you ever want to know, man, before she dies.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking yesterday, I was doing something. My dad died last year, and I was like, man, I wish my dad was here so I could ask him that because he would know it.
Yeah.
Just about random crap, man. Just like I can tell you, like I was watching something on YouTube earlier, and they had Stephen Baldwin on, and he was asking a guy about movies, and they were going over all these movies, these great movies that you might not have even heard of, like at
Yeah.
your age, that I know very well, like Weird Science and God, what was some of the other ones that this guy wrote? I know his Weird Science was one of them. There's all those like 80s movies that were just from like the early 80s that I've seen that like
Yeah.
he was talking about how lost like movies just haven't been really good. It's all about the money since like
Yeah.
early 2000s. Like pretty much like music. Music died in 2000 and
Yeah.
you
We did
know,
that with my grandma. My sister sat down with her and like just talked to her for like a long time and recorded it all and asked her a bunch of personal questions and things about when she was little and how things
yeah.
have changed. It's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, you could ask her about the Great Depression.
Yeah,
She
yeah, yeah.
lived through it. Let me see, she might
She was
not
a
have lived
kid.
through it.
I think she's
Yeah.
92, so
She barely my grandmother
yeah,
actually lived through it as an adult because
yeah,
she was born in 1902. The Great Depression was in what, the 20s? 22, like 20,
yeah. It was
it was
after,
in the 20s.
yeah,
So she lived through the Great Depression,
yeah,
which is crazy. And then my dad, he was born during World War II,
hmm,
but my grandmother and my grandfather, he was a reverend, he was in the military, reverend. So I don't know if he served during World War II. I think he did during World War One.
Probably.
So, I mean, just all that history you can't ask people anymore. We just don't have, like, our generation just doesn't have cool history like that. Like, we can tell you about, like, awesome movies. We can tell you about the great brands in the 90s that came out for that little short special period of time in the early 90s and stuff like that happened. But we really don't have, like, you look at World War II, that was like the last real genuine war that we had no choice but to be in. Everything else has been a money making, let's change it, make them a democracy or whatever fake crap we got going on in America, like over there. Like that's what it's been. And then money. It's all about money. Like, all right, we can destroy it with our weapons, and then we can rebuild it with the same companies that built the weapons that destroyed it. And then we'll send people in there to teach them how to be American, and we'll westernize everybody, whether they like it or not. And I don't know that that's a good thing. I don't know that those daggum Muslims living over there don't have it figured out, in some kind of weird way. I mean, not that I believe that being a Muslim is the way, but I know that they live probably a lot of them live a more spiritual life than Christians do, I would think, because they are really devout to their religion.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, the majority of them aren't blowing up buildings and bombs. I know they believe certain things, the Jews believe that they're this, and the Christians believe this, and the Muslims believe this. But just from a standpoint, like, they live more like Christians than most Christians do.
They're way better at being Muslim than we are at Christians.
Absolutely. They're better at being Christian than we are. And they believe in Jesus Christ. They just don't believe he was the Messiah. I mean, it's the same thing. They give praise to him. Like they say, peace be with him, all that stuff when they talk about Jesus. The Jews don't do that. Like the Orthodox Jews, from what I've seen, they don't like him at all much. Jesus, they don't really. But, I think the way that they conduct their societies makes a lot more sense, as far as, that narrow path you were talking about. I think they try to keep their people on that path a lot more than we do in the West.
Yeah.
We just do whatever you want, man. Sin, it's all good. We don't have to talk about God. It doesn't matter. You don't ever have to pray. Just go do your thing, man. Whatever makes you happy. And they're like, no, our religion, we're going to pray 5 times a day. We're going to face the Mecca. We're going to, there's things we got to do. Women don't do certain things, they and we look at them like they're crazy, but here we are over here, got everything and still not happy.
Yeah. I don't know. One thing that was cool about my grandma was like listening to her talk about like what they did in high school and like for fun. That's one thing we asked her, like, what'd you guys do for fun as a kid? For one, they like worked all the time, not all the time, but like they had chores and they had to do them, like milking cows. Like they had their own cow and their own eggs and all that stuff that all had to be done every day.
Yeah.
So there was like some kind of a sense of responsibility and like family was real important, right? Like, I milked the cow no matter what. Like if I wanted to go, they had danced all the time. That's what they did back then because they didn't have TV or whatever. Kids, like they didn't really play sports per se. I mean, they did a little bit, but not like they do now, So they would like have dance parties all the time. She said, like, or go listen to music. Someone would have a radio and they would go to listen to music, and I don't know, it was cool to listen to. Like, I think the first date her and my grandpa went on was that she had to, like they went and milked their cow, like the dairy cows they had to go do that. Both of them had to go do that before they could go on a date.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was neat. It was neat she worked at a shoe factory because I think she went up to the 8th grade and she didn't have any more schooling after that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went and worked at the shoe factory, and like there was a guy that would pick them all up, and then they'd go to the shoe factory and work, and then come back home, pick them up and drop them back off, and no air conditioning, no running water.
Yeah, you had a well.
Yeah,
with a pump to get the water out of. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot harder, but I think people appreciated things more, and family was more important back then. We got everything so daggum easy.
Yeah,
which I'm good with it. But it's probably bad to a point.
Right.
Like I was talking to Shane yesterday about his kids, and we were just talking about like his youngest kids. We were talking about the club and the hunting club, and he was like debating, like, "Do I get out of it? Do I stay in it?" And I was like, Well, what are you going to do with your two twins? I mean, they're 10. It's like, you can't let them stay on those video games for the next 10 years. You got to have someplace outdoors to take them. And he was like, well, you don't understand those video games they got to play. I said, dude, if I had kids, they would never, ever get on a video game. Ever. Like, ever. Like, I would not buy them a console. Now, I'm not judging anybody who buys their kids consoles. Y'all do what you want to do. Your parents. I've never been a parent. I just know that I've seen what it does to kids. He's like, you don't understand. I was like, well, man, if they never had it, I didn't ever have video games when I was a kid, and I don't miss the fact that I didn't have them. I don't play them today. I don't have any interest in playing video games, and there's probably a balance. You can probably do it for, Brandy and I were talking. She's like, well, you can give them, an hour or so or a couple of hours, and then, they got to do the rest. But a lot of parents just like, here's your tablet.
Well, that's the problem with doing what, like you're saying, is like the hour, like the time limit is like, you have to be disciplined as a parent then.
Yeah.
You can't be like, well, it's easier if he's quiet and on his tablet or playing his video games for me. So go ahead and do it for 2 hours.
Yep. And then
because I'm having a bad day or whatever,
Then
all of a sudden it's like, now all of a sudden it's now they're on it for 3 hours a day and so on and so forth. So if you're on it, I think you got to be disciplined as a parent. And that's something people struggle with nowadays.
Well, I think it's cool because you run around with Huck all the time. He spends a lot of time with you, which is important for a boy to spend time with his dad, seeing what his dad does, and now, the fathers aren't as present in their home. We're selfish. Men are usually selfish by nature, and a lot of us don't put our families first and stuff like that. I'm glad I didn't have kids because I don't know that I would have been prepared for it when I was younger than I am now and had a different outlook on life. But, and I'm good with kids. Just, I don't know how to do my own kids. I've raised a couple of stepkids and stuff, but, which is fun, but, I wasn't married. So I say they're stepkids, but I mean, I could have, I had that out. I could have been like, all right, I'm gone. And, but I loved them anyway. So we actually did break up, and you met Sawyer. So I still hung out with them a lot because I loved them. But you can just, I don't know. I think, no tablets, no phones, and chores is a good thing. Like James said, a lot better back when we were kids, man. And the 90s was a good time.
We watched The Sandlot the other night with Huck.
Mm-hmm.
We have a movie night sometimes, and it was it's supposed to be in the 60s,
Yeah.
Or it was a movie from the 90s, but the stories in the 60s. And me and Maddie we were like kind of reminiscing of how those boys, like how you could tell how they were raised back then.
Yeah.
In the movie, like just like, Mom, I'm going out to play ball, and like they all like eight guys would just show up at this little park, Like that doesn't happen anymore. There's no group of kids that goes out and plays baseball for 10 hours or whatever, all day long.
Yeah. Dude, I left my house and I never came home. I mean, I'd be out till the lights were off.
Yeah, we'd ride bikes somewhere or go get lost in the woods.
My friends would leave and I'd sit there and be playing basketball by myself, having my own basketball game, at 10, 11, 12 years old, outside, getting exercise, moving around all the time. Go home, take a shower, go to bed, wake up, go to school, come back, catch up with all the guys, run around on our bicycles. We used to take those little chrome caps off people's cars, off their tires. You remember that? That was terrible. That's probably the worst thing I ever did when I was a kid was take chrome caps off of people's valve stems to put them on my bike.
You just the little screw in thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I probably never even noticed it was gone. Like,
you may have taken Maddie's off her Forerunner. There's one missing on that thing.
I quit doing that when I was about
12. Oh, okay. Good.
I don't know though, man. That klepto in me, I might just get the itch to go steal somebody's chrome valve stems. Valve stem cap.
Yeah. Sandlot's a good movie.
Yep.
Huck liked it a lot. There was more cussing in it than I remembered as a boy, though. Kind of threw me off.
We cussed. Me and my friends, we cussed. Every other word was a dirty word. We loved it because it's like the thing you couldn't do at home. You're told you can't cuss, but when you got with your friends, you could just say whatever you wanted to.
Yeah.
So we just dropped cuss words all the time.
It's just something stupid to do, right?
It was so much fun. So much a better time back then. I mean, these kids nowadays, if it's not instantly on this phone, gratifying them, I mean, even myself, I'm guilty of it, then
Sure.
they're not happy. But my wife she's a therapist, so she sees kids and she's like, they literally come in there on their phones. And when she asks them questions, they go, yes, no, And they've had parents snatch the phones and go answer her questions, and the kids just lose it, like go bonkers in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead, that was great.
Family Guy.
That was more I didn't watch Family Guy. I watched Beavis and Butthead was my thing back when I was a kid. Yeah. Man, we had so many good shows, man.
Oh man, King of the Hill.
Family Matters, man. We had Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Man, so many good shows that would just come on, and like the shows like that, like Family Matters, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, all those shows with an all black cast or family. Those were the best shows. Mm-hmm. Like now, like. I mean, I'm like, where did all this crap, this racism stuff come for? Because I mean, when I was a kid, we all loved those shows. Like all my friends that are black, like they all watch a lot of the white shows and stuff too. Mr. Belvedere. I mean, like, there's Mr. Belvedere, but and then they try to divide us now, and everybody's just so radicalized and crazy and in their own tribe and stuff. It's like, I wish we could just go back.
Did you ever watch the Red Green Show?
Oh
man, really?
Mm-mm.
That was my favorite show growing up, the Red Green Show.
Yeah, I watched
what do you always say?
The Hall. There's one called Kids in the Hall.
If the women don't find you handsome, they might as well find you handy.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
He's always teaching people how to fix things, but in a funny way. Yeah, we were always on dirt bikes and four-wheelers. That's all we did growing up when I was little. We ride them on the road to each other's house and stuff. I don't know if we were supposed to do that, but
we had older friends that were like 10 years older too. I had a lot of friends that were like older than us that worked on dirt bikes or cars or stuff, and they'd let us hang around the garage with them and just ask questions. I mean, I was pretty lucky, man.
You want to hear a crazy story about a buddy of mine?
Go ahead.
So I moved away. So I grew up here in Brownstown where I live now until I was like 12 or 13-ish. Mm-hmm. And I moved up to northern Indiana. It was about a 3-hour drive from where I live now to where I went to high school and stuff. So we used to always ride dirt bikes and four-wheelers, right? Dude, at age like 15, one of my buddies from down here got on his dirt bike and drove it all the way up to northern Indiana where I live on the road, run away from his house or whatever, left his house and drove it all the way up to my house.
What?
Off of 65 in the interstate, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Man, we used to do crazy stuff and nothing like that. We used to ride up to the malls. Yeah. I would never let my kid do the things I did when I was younger now. We used to ride through these neighborhoods, and I mean, we ride our bicycles all over the place. I'd stay out late at night. My parents never worried. Like now, just our society's just gotten so bad. You can't trust anybody with your kids. You can't trust everybody's, the drug problems and all that. The 90s was really
everybody diddying around.
Yeah, man, the 90s was really the last.
Yeah, I agree.
The 80s was scary as heck because my mom and everybody was scared somebody's going to abduct your kid because all these kids got abducted all the time.
Yeah.
The 90s, that kind of went away, like the abductions, like of little kids and stuff, because there was a lot of high profile child abductions in the 80s, that were, make it to the news and, oh God, and they find the kid or they never found them or be dead. And then, the 90s, that all kind of started going away. Of course, now, I mean, if you abducted a kid, I mean, I don't know. They say there's a bunch of child sex trafficking across the border and stuff, but I just, with the cameras and the phones, I mean, and everything that we have technology wise, it's like you can't do anything crazy like that anymore. Like a serial killer, how are you gonna be a serial killer nowadays? Like, there's cameras everywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
it's way harder to get away with things.
Yeah, way harder, which is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like
sure. Yeah. It is a benefit of the technology. Like,
it is, but it's like but I remember she was scared of that. But then the 90s, that just kind of went away. And I don't know, kids were all punk rock and purple hair and nose rings. And then that went away for a little while. Now nose rings are kind of back in and that kind of punky stuff. Everybody's going backwards because there's not been no original thought anymore. It's just all about the money and how much money we can make with Barbie movies or Taylor Swift albums or whatever. There's no good. There's a few, and they're mostly in the country music scene, which I never listened to as a kid, but that seems like I'm more listening to that more now. but nothing in the rock and roll. Like rock and roll's dead.
Really?
It's so dead now. Like, name me one rock and roll band that's not from the 80s or 90s.
Right.
That's new, that's really good.
There's probably some underground ones you don't know about.
Yeah, Jinko James. Yeah, those were terrible. You mean the ones that Hulk Hogan wore when he was with the NWO?
Probably, brother.
Yes, brother. I got the Jinko James on, brother. Look, hold on. Let me look it up real quick before we get off the show.
Oh, that's funny.
Look it up on my phone.
There's a lot of good country music right now. Outside of country radio, at least. My uncle stole a cop car.
You mean like these?
Back in the day.
Jinko Jeans?
Yeah, that's probably it.
Hulkster, brother. Those are them. Those are Jinkos with that belt.
Like my son Nick there. Is that Nick?
That's Nick Hogan, brother. 1990s.
Dude, whatever happened to that family? They were like the big thing back in the.
I don't know. He's still pretty. He's still pretty popular. His son, I think, is. I mean, he had that DUI wreck where he killed a friend, had to go to prison, and then his daughter kind of tried a music thing, but it's just because she was she was just his daughter. Yeah. I don't think she really had any talent. Now, evidently, not enough to make people pay attention.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, Jinko Jeans. I can't believe he remembers that.
Oh, there's all kinds of weird things like that back in the day. Nah, there's a lot of weird things right now too, though.
Yeah, I mean, like some of these stories these guys are saying. I mean, I just remember doing some stuff, just wandering off in the woods, man. Just don't even tell your parents. I mean, I remember swimming in this creek. I mean, I could have drowned in the daggum thing or gotten snake bit in the middle of summer.
Oh, yeah, dude. My dad and his brothers played in the freaking White River behind my house here because they grew up in this house.
Yeah.
It's like the White River, dude. It's like 10 feet deep. I mean, it's a proper river.
Yes.
You know, they had a swing out to the middle of it. They drive their four-wheelers out in it.
Yeah. We did the same stuff, man. We did crazy stuff when we were kids. Go fishing, and heck, I think I shot my first duck when I was 10 with a BB gun. I mean, stuff like that. I remember I felt really bad. I shot that duck in the eye with a BB gun. And I didn't know it was a federal offense,
Right. Oh, you didn't have your stamp?
I didn't have anything. It was the middle of summer.
Oh.
Yeah. We were fishing, and I was like, had a BB gun for snakes. I was like, "Ooh, look at that duck!" I'm like, I bet you can't hit it. Pow! and I'll never forget that. I feel terrible even telling that story. So, federal Fish and Game probably might come to my house. We need to see your freezer. Dude,
I remember when I shot a buzzard with a slug during deer season when I was a kid.
Oh yeah,
I felt real bad about that.
Yeah.
And I lied to my dad about it too because he asked me, he's like, "Did you shoot?" And I'm like, "No."
Yeah, you're like, shot a buzzard.
Yeah, like why do you do stupid things like that as a kid?
I don't know. I just think you do it because you think you can. You don't realize it. You don't think you're going to kill it. Probably. You're like, I don't know, hit that.
Yeah, you got. I don't know.
Well, dude, I 10-ringed him right in the eye. I was like, that head went down in the water.
I don't even know if
he started flapping like this.
Oh my gosh!
And I was like, oh, man, I feel bad. I was like, what do we do? Like, I don't know, go get him. I was like, no, let's go home.
I don't even know I don't know if it's illegal to shoot a buzzard or not. I
don't know. That's a good question. You can't
either.
shoot a bird of prey. I know that. You can't shoot a owl or you can't shoot those.
I guess a buzzard. No, buzzards are scavengers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids will do before thinking of consequences. Yeah, that's probably what it is. You're probably just, I don't know. Kids are kind of bloodthirsty too. Like,
well, you just want to see if you can kill it. Yeah, cheap gas. Yeah, man, it was 95. Dude, that was 95 cents when I was and started driving in
really
6. Oh yeah, it's like 95 cents a gallon. I went freaking everywhere, dude. I'd go hunting on national forest when I was 16 years old with nobody. Like, can you imagine letting Huck? Like, would you let Huck go hunt the Hoosier National Forest by himself at 16 without you? And you've never been there?
Oh, like, maybe. I don't know. Depends on how mature he was.
Listen, I was pretty mature because, I mean, compared to these
I was doing all kinds of hunting by myself at 16. Like, I was.
Would you let him drive his car across the state line to Ohio and hunt at 16?
I probably would.
You would?
If he was mature. If I felt like he was mature.
I don't think I would nowadays, no matter how mature my kid was. I don't know. I don't know.
Boy, I mean, I would, I think.
I don't know, man. A lot of bad stuff can happen.
Yeah,
but I mean, I've been around guns. I mean, Huck will be around.
Dude, I mean, they're the size of a man. You're the size of a man at 6. I mean, a lot of kids are.
Yeah, I guess
they could probably handle themselves.
I was wide open. My old truck driving down roads and having business driving down mud roads, logging roads, going back there to get those turkeys. I remember doing that.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I had a daughter, no, I probably would not.
Oh, heck no. My daughter wouldn't leave the house till she was 36. I know how these guys think.
I don't have a daughter, but dude, I'm telling you, he's gonna be a handful. As Hayes, he's something else.
Oh, dude. I know. He's. I told you, man.
Dude, he is. Yeah, he's gonna be smarter than me. I think.
That long blonde hair come out. He's smart. He's always looking.
You should see him right now, dude. It's like it's so flowy and like beautiful looking, and it's funny. He's gonna be.
I'm telling you, man. Village of the Damned, dude. He's one of those. He's the missing twin from the Village of the Damned. He's gonna start looking at you.
Oh yeah, I looked that up.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of them little crazy kids. He's gonna look at you and stare at you one day, and your eyes are gonna start bleeding because he's mad at you.
He talks to us now like he's 11 months old, but like he will be trying to tell us something. Like he'll sit there and be like, I would do and his little fingers pointing at us, and I'm like,
really?
Put that little finger away. Yeah.
Cute.
I'll video it sometime. It's hilarious.
That's nuts.
But yeah, and he's walked since he was just under 10 months old, and I'm like, boy, you need to slow down a little bit here.
Yeah, I know.
But he has that older brother, that he watches do everything and falls around and.
Yeah, but man, he is kind of advanced. You're gonna have a little genius kid, little Elon. As long as he doesn't start naming his kids like letters.
Right.
XYT2. This is my son XYT3. Like, what? Okay, I guess you can do whatever you want. Kind of like, what was that movie with Adam Sandler, like little kid? My name's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Okay, Frankenstein, you can be whatever you want.
Daddy, what was it called? I love Adam Sandler.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. That's it.
Yeah, Big Daddy.
What's your favorite Adam Sandler movie?
I'd probably say that one's up there.
Yeah.
Probably. Man, he's had so many good ones.
You remember Little Nicky?
Yeah, that one was good.
Well, he was like the devil's son or something.
Yeah, that was good.
The only reason I like that one is because that was like my first like PG-13 movie I ever watched, and we watched it at a buddy's house.
You're so young, dude, compared to me.
Well,
he had some good. Happy Gilmore was good. Oh, don't mess with the Zohan, dude. That's probably my favorite movie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. I love
some of those Netflix ones because he had like a deal with Netflix where he made a half dozen movies or something. Some of those are pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Netflix has everything now. He's good.
Will Ferrell's pretty good.
Step Brothers is my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, Will Ferrell.
Oh, followed behind Talladega Nights, probably my second favorite funny movie.
Yeah, those were legendary when they came out. Anchorman's really funny too.
Yeah, Step Brothers was just
so funny.
John C. Reilly in that thing, man.
Yeah, he was good.
I could watch him. Both of those guys are so funny, man.
What was the movie that Will Ferrell was in? Dang it. I can't remember the name of it now. I'm not going to be able to remember it either.
What was his character doing?
I don't know. I just made a meme about it where he like flicks the guy with the curly hair in the wiener. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, that's with John C. Reilly.
No,
that's the guy with curly hair, right?
No. This is another guy. Dang it. I'm going to have to look it up because I can't remember it. Anyway, yeah, there's a lot of good Will Ferrell movies. I probably like Adam Sandler a little bit better. He's goofy. He's just the goofiness and silliness of it.
I like them both, but I'm probably a Ferrell guy because that daggone Step Brothers is so funny.
I know. I
just love Step Brothers. Did you see? I saw Shane Gillis today do on a little short thing he did talking about Trump. It was funny.
Yeah,
Trump saying, "I called her Kabbalah. They thought I was serious. I was just joking." And then he was talking about how he'll, like when he's talking, how when he gets ready he'll grab the table and he'll like start twisting or something. I mean, he's got Trump down to a science. Are you looking up that movie?
I'm trying. I can't find it. I made a short of it the other day, but oh well. Anyway, Norm Macdonald, he was a legend.
Oh yeah, Norm Macdonald's great. Yeah, Chris Farley. Oh, he was so good. That movie with Chris Farley, and who was the other guy that was in that movie with him?
David Spade.
Yes, big
Black Sheep.
Black Sheep, such a good movie.
Oh,
such talent we lost.
Oh man, he was so young. Wasn't he like 28 or 29 when he died?
He was right there, early 30s, late 20s. He was young. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was so good. So good.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was, like Joe Rogan or somebody, or I can't remember who it was, but they were talking about they saw him like 2 days before he died and he was not doing good.
He was I think it was Tommy Boy was the one.
Oh yeah, Tommy Boy.
That's where he was a car, like his dad had Callahan Motors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Those are classic movies.
Oh, here it is. This movie.
Oh yeah.
What is that movie?
Eastbound and Down.
It's Eastbound and Down. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He does that.
In Will Ferrell. What's some of the early movie he did that got real popular?
That was Talladega Nights, probably.
No. There was one before that. Wasn't he in oh man, Beverly Hills Ninja? Yes, dude, that was a great Farley movie.
The guy you're talking about right there, Danny McBride, is freaking hilarious. He is the funniest. He puts out the funniest shows. Him and Walton Goggins are hilarious, man. Baby Billy. Have you watched any of those?
Oh yeah, dude. He's good at the internet. He's good at it.
Baby Billy Freeman.
Yeah. I'm gonna look up this movie I'm trying to think of. These are the new ones. Which some of the new ones are. No, I'm just looking at some of the Semi-Pro. You remember that one?
Yeah.
That was okay.
Vince Vaughn's good in movies too. Vince Vaughn and who's the other guy that was in the movies with him? Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those movies were good. Wedding Crashers. And the one with Ben Stiller. He what was it? Him, Globo Gym. What was the name of that? Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Good movie. You know?
Yeah. Where was the one where
then the Avengers took over and they never quit.
That's what the one where they go to it's like based in Vietnam.
Oh, Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder. Yeah.
Well, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
That was good. That was really funny.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr.
Superbad. That was a good movie. That was a funny movie.
Superbad was good too. Man,
Pineapple Express.
Oh, that was good. That was good. Yeah. I love that movie.
Dude, you're right though. Like, there's no more good movies. It don't seem like
they don't do good comedies anymore, man. Like, even the people that are on SNL now, they're not funny.
Yeah, they're not. Zach Galifianakis, he's good too. He's a newer good. No, he's not new, but like,
yeah, he's good. He's funny. The
Hangover,
the campaign.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Will Ferrell and Zach found it.
Yeah. Have you seen the Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis movie they did together? It's been a few years back. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. You remember what it's called, Zeke or James? They get like something happens and they have to travel across the country together, and they don't know each other. It's hilarious.
I haven't seen the movie, but I know what you're talking about. I've seen the
well, it's worth the watch. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch. Have you seen The Usual Suspects?
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to watch that right now. I can't get into it. It's supposed to be really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Everybody tells me you need to watch it. I started watching it, but I can't get into it. But all those movies, like, that's what I was watching. My wife and I were watching before I came up here. Is Stephen Baldwin was on, and he's like a movie buff. Like, he was talking about who he thought were the greatest actors of all time and all that stuff. And he was just talking about how, like, movies now, they're all about how much money can we make and not about storytelling. Like, there's no good original movies. I can't think of one great movie I've seen in a long time. Like, really good original film that's really good. That's not a comic book or based on a fantasy novel or something like that. Like,
Due Date was the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
he's carrying the baby around.
Well, no, that's
Yeah, that's due date.
Are you sure?
Or is that the no? That's
I think that's.
Was it the one with their bachelor party or whatever?
Yeah.
You can buy that for a Halloween costume. My friend Greg that I gave the Bible to, we were at the house the other day and he came out full get up like Zach Galifianakis with the baby, with the shades and the little chest pouch.
Yep.
Yeah, any of that, like Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones. They're trying to redo Ghostbusters. I'll say the one that they did prior to this last one, Frozen Kingdom, was pretty good. But you can tell they went back to the well to try to recreate the success they had on Frozen Kingdom. It fell flat, in my opinion. That just one is good. But the one they did before that, it was pretty cool. Of course, they brought back Zool and Gozer and all the stuff in the original. But it's like, do you notice that like movies are not made now; they're remade. Like reboot everything. Like you cannot have. There is no more original thought in Hollywood for whatever reason. All the original thought in music industry in Hollywood, all the creativity died in 2000. I swear, it just died. Like I can't think of anything just spectacular that has come after the year 2000. Movie wise,
you talking about 2020?
No, 2000. The year 2000.
Dude, all these movies we're talking about is after 2000 with Will Ferrell.
Those are comedies. Those are great comedies, but they're not good storytelling like movies with great actors, right? Like they're not The Godfather. They're not Goodfellas. They're not these great movies that came in those years. They're good. They're funny, but I mean, I think you can write a comedy movie pretty easy, but to have a serious movie with actors that really are taking their part and convincing you that is who they are. Like, dude, the movie Seven. Have you ever seen Seven with Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and Kevin Spacey?
Yep.
Ridiculous acting in that. Kevin Spacey, what? Some of the best acting you've ever seen. They don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
It just, all the movies are they're not what they were back then. They're funny. They still have funny. And some of them are entertaining. But, man, I find myself going back and watching those old movies from the 80s and 90s. Whenever I'm on Netflix or sitting around, I'm like, I'm bored. That's what I do. X-Files, best shows all time. I agree. My wife and I downloaded season 1 to start watching again the other night. So,
yeah, there's not very many good shows anymore. Like there was a stretch there for a while, like The Office, Parks and Rec, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. Yeah, but they had good stories too inside of those.
Yeah,
but those are
The Walking Dead was really good. The Walking Dead was really good when it first came out. It was really original.
That got
a really cool take, but they kept going to the well, man. They didn't stick to the source material, and they started kind of verging off that, and it cost them. They kept it around too long. They should have made that a 5 or 6 season show, and ended it the way it was in the comic books. Maybe 8 seasons.
That's what's happening with Cobra Kai right now. I don't know if you watch Cobra Kai.
Yeah, the first few seasons were good, but I got out of it too.
Dude, it's on season 6 now, and it's just too much.
They keep going that way, like, well, we're making money at it. Let's just keep it going. And there's a certain time when you've got to just. It's like Back to the Future. Like they will never remake as long as those guys are alive. They will never do a Back to the Future 4 or reboot it. They've just said they're not going to do it. Now, I guess they're standing on principle for the money. They're saying we're not going to do it. That doesn't mean that when Zemeckis dies or, Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, when they die off, that they won't reboot it 10, 15, 20 years from now. But they've never done anything in that movie. You know why? Because it's great as it is.
Yeah.
Star Wars was great as it was. Should have left it alone and never made the other 6 movies. Definitely not the last 3, for sure. Yeah. But, that's just no more creativity. Wait till AI comes in, then humans won't be involved in anything we watch on TV.
Right. Well, that's the problem too, is everything's kind of developed. Like it's all CGI or just, stuff that's not, not real. It's not.
And it's sad because like kids like Huck's age, they'll never know about the stuff we know about unless you show it to them.
Yeah.
And like what's sad is like your generation, your parents in their early 30s, they don't know about the stuff me and James are talking about.
Right.
Like they don't know about these movies like Alien, like Alien 3, like those are great movies and nobody knows what they're talking about. Like if you show those, a kid wouldn't even understand them, and they're freaking awesome. Terminator 2. some of the best movies ever made in film. You know,
I think one of my joyous, like one of my favorite things about being a dad is showing Huck like some of the old stuff I used to watch when I was a kid, and then him liking it because he's just now getting to because he's almost 5 now, and he's just getting to the point where he can like listen to a story and understand what's going on. You know what I mean? Because before it's just he doesn't understand enough things in the world to to put things together. But like we watched Sandlot, and like he's like at first he's like I don't want to watch this, you know. I'm like, just let's watch it with me, and you'll like it. And he did. He's like, I like that movie, Dad. I'm like, yeah, it's an awesome movie, bud. Like I'm jealous of him. Like, you ever get jealous of people? Like, I used to say this with comedy stuff. Like, I'm like like I was a big Theo. I used to love Theo Vaughn. I still love him.
Yeah.
But it's like you like introduce someone to a comic you like, and you're like, dude, I'm jealous of you because you get to hear all this stuff
for the first time.
Yeah,
it was like I never heard of Shane Gillis until you and I hunted in Illinois that first time we met each other, and with Sawyer, and he knew him and you knew him, and then we started watching. I was like, man, this guy's kind of funny, and now he's freaking hilarious. Like I love watching his stuff. You know,
it's the same thing with movies or shows that we like. It's like, man,
just those magical figures from our childhood, like there's not any more Michael Jordans. There's not any more Michael Jacksons. There's not any more Mike Tysons, man.
No.
There's no Rocky Balboa movies. There's just none of that great, cool stuff. The 80s was just the 80s and 90s were just such a great time in America. And since then, all we do is gripe at each other and hate each other, and it just is worse and worse.
We also just may not be paying attention enough to some of the new stuff. You know what I mean?
Maybe we're old too. I'm old too, so I don't know what these kids are watching. Maybe they'd like the same stuff. Maybe it's
like in 30 years there'll probably be some two jackwagons on a podcast talking about all the crap that was awesome in 2024 that nobody knows about it.
Yeah, y'all remember when AI came around and ruined everything?
Yeah,
they're like, best show in the world was The Rings of Power on it, which is terrible. They'll be like, The Rings of Power.
Walker, Texas Ranger. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah,
I did too.
Rambo. What? Yeah, Rambo.
Yeah, dude, Rambo.
Steven Seagal, man. Steven Seagal was so awesome in the 90s.
Yeah, I think he's an idiot, though.
Oh, he's an idiot, but he was great. His movies were just stupid but ridiculously good. When he beats that guy, that whole bar full of guys up with a cue ball wrapped in a towel, it's priceless. You just can't. They won't make a movie like that again.
Back then, it was Chuck Norris, Steven Seagal, and Jean-Claude Van Damme, right?
Yeah. Yep. And you had in the martial arts thing, it was Seagal, Van Damme. I want to say there was one other, but it's pretty much Seagal and Van Damme that were making those like B movies.
Yeah.
Like Hard Target.
Yeah.
Out to Kill. Hard to Kill, Out for Justice, Mark for Death. And then he had like Legionnaire, Double Impact.
Yeah,
that's where he played his twin. That was Jean-Claude Van Damme. He was jacked in that movie. That movie was when I wanted to start bodybuilding because I saw him and he was kind of buff. And I was like, man, I want to look like Jean-Claude Van Damme. And then I, of course, got a lot bigger than that.
Yeah. Remember MASH? Did you ever watch MASH growing up? Did your dad ever watch it?
Yeah, no, my dad might have watched it some. I don't know if he was watching those shows. Those might have been like these shows that are on today that I don't watch.
Dude, I don't even know. What did our parents watch? There was kind of probably a gap there where there wasn't.
My dad watched a lot of Westerns.
Yeah, I guess it was Westerns probably.
Yeah, he watched a lot of Westerns. Like that was his thing. Clint Eastwood movies and the old stuff. My
dad watched a lot of sports, but sports were good back then,
Yeah, my dad didn't watch a lot of sports. He did watch the movies. He liked Seagal. They used to go buy the movies. They had VHS tapes. Like they had a whole shelf made for putting your VHS tapes on.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They had the whole thing in the house, man.
Oh yeah.
Bonanza, Gunsmoke, man. I go back. You ever go back and watch those old Westerns?
Like a little bit with like Clint Eastwood and all those old timers.
Yeah, I appreciate those now. They're really good.
Yeah, you don't.
Josie Wells, Pale Rider, Hang 'em High.
Yeah, My grandpa I think he watched Westerns. He used to watch a lot of like old wrestling. I remember that. I remember him watching old wrestling because that was I think he watched before it was all WWE. It was all just like regional stuff.
When it was territories.
Yeah.
It was all the territories. Yeah. Yeah. Memphis is like one of the birthplaces of a lot of those wrestlers. Like The Rock got to start here. Who else? The Undertaker got to start here. Sid Vicious got to start here. Man, a ton of them. Rocky Johnson got to start here. Lawler's from here. I mean, he was the king of Memphis. Scott Hall got to start here. Like, I remember I met a lot of them that went through wrestling when they were here. You know, everybody that made it to WWE in the 90s came through Memphis and was in championship wrestling.
Yeah.
And The Rock, this is where he cut his teeth, was in Memphis, man. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Okay. Let's get off here. It's 10 p.m. Everybody's going to bed.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking with us through all this crazy.
Yeah. It was fun. Tonight. Yeah.
Yep.
Good time. See y'all next week.
Our think about some more good movies. We'll talk about it next week on the show.
Good luck, everybody, with your deer hunt if y'all get to go in the next week or so. I know it opens up here, and I know October 1st pretty much open day across the country. So good luck to everybody on your deer hunt. God bless y'all.
Keep us in the loop. If anybody gets one or anything, let us know on here. So talk to you guys later. Bye.
See y'all.